Welcome back to the Thrifty Food Plan channel, friends. If you're new here, I am Jay, and I am sort of the creator slash facilitator of this little YouTube community. This video is one that I produce each and every month at the end of the month, where I grade myself on how I did kind of sticking to budget for groceries across the month. And groceries includes two things. It includes food, which I use the USDA Thrifty Food Plan to build that budget. Excuse me. And then it also includes household and personal care items, which I budget for separately using data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And but I buy most of my household and personal care items at the grocery store, whether that's Walmart or Kroger, or sometimes I do a Dollar Tree haul. So I grade myself sort of in three categories, kind of how much I spent on food against the budget, how I did spending those dollars from a nutritional perspective, because the USDA Thrifty Food Plan also provides us with nutritional guidance that I believe is super important. Because when you're trying to eat very frugally, you're at higher risk of not getting all your nutritional needs met. So I like to grade myself on nutritional spending as well. And then finally, I grade myself against the household and personal care budget that I set every month using that data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Now, sometimes folks ask me, like, why do you grade yourself? And honestly, for me, it is an accountability mechanism, just trying to hold myself accountable for doing what I say I'm going to do. And I really rely on you all to help hold me accountable. Looking back also helps me look forward in the sense of, like, if I see trends and that sort of thing in my spending, there may be adjustments that I need to make in future months or things, or in the future month, or things that I need to keep in mind kind of otherwise. So the first half of this video is going to be looking back to May 2023. And just so folks know, my monthly budgets run from the 26th of one month to the 25th of the next month. And that's a function of how I get paid, or how I pay myself as a consultant. I've got to have the money in hand from my clients before I build a budget for the next month. The May report is from April 26th to May 25th. And then the second part of this video, I'm going to build out sort of my grocery budget, food and personal and household, for the month of June. And that budget will run from May 26th to June 25th. So lots of context, but let's look at sort of what I spent in my budgetary month of May. Let's get to it. Okay, so before we can talk about what I actually spent, helpful to look back on what the budget actually was. So for May 2023, when I constructed that budget, the most recently available USDA Thrifty Food Plan was for March of 23. So that is the data I used. What that report told me was that every week my base allotment was $51.70, but because I'm a one-person household, the USDA says that I should add 20%, which meant that my weekly allowable food spend was $62.04. There were 4 weeks during this budgetary period for me. So if I take 6204 and multiply it by 4, that means the maximum I was allowed to spend on food under the USDA plan for the month of May was $248.16. Okay, what I actually ended up spending, I shopped 3 times during the month of May. What I actually ended up spending on food was $135.95. So if the maximum I was allowed to spend on food was $248.16, that means I came in under budget by $112.21. which isn't the best I've ever done in the whole wide world, but it is, I believe, pretty good. So I'm going to give myself an A for my food spending in the month of May. Now, do you all think it is ridiculous that one person spent $135.95 on food across a month? Maybe that seems like a ton to you. Would appreciate any of your pushes and feedback in the comments below. Um, it does feel a little high to me, but it is well under budget. And so I'm going to be gracious with myself with this A, in part because I did do some stockpiling this month, including buying, 8 pounds of oatmeal. So, and you all may have a different opinion. So please let me know, like, what your grade for me would be in the comments below and why, so that I can learn from you. All right, the next area where I'm going to grade myself is on nutritional spending. So the USDA basically recommends that we spend our dollars in these percentages across the nutritional categories. And that's to increase the likelihood that our nutritional needs will get met, even when we're buying food in a very frugal manner. So, for example, generally, we should be spending about 24% on vegetables. Now, I am mostly a whole food plant based vegan, so my costs for dairy and protein foods are almost always going to come in low just because, beans cost less than beef, for example. But let's look at what my percentages actually show this month. So, did come in under for dairy, came in under for protein. Not exciting. I overspent a little bit across the month on grains. A lot of that is because I stockpiled those oats. I underspent very significantly on fruit, and that is because I had a bunch of fruit that was gifted to me at a work retreat. So they had bought a bunch of fruit that people didn't eat at the retreat, and I was able to bring some of that fruit home. Overspent on vegetables, which is not at all shocking given the fact that I, eat lots of vegetables every single day. Now, I overspent pretty significantly in the miscellaneous category. And I wanted to just ground myself in sort of how that had happened. Now, I have struggled if you've watched this channel for a while, miscellaneous is an area where I tend to struggle. It's gotten better though over the last couple months. You can see in April, I only spent 8.71% on miscellaneous, but it's back up to 21% in May. So when I look at what I bought coffee, which I could give up and drink tea instead because black tea bags are cheaper than coffee. I am not yet willing to eliminate coffee from my life. At the beginning of the month, I did buy 2 bars of chocolate for one of my 10-day hauls. I bought plant mayo, I bought a jar of tahini, and I bought 3 jars of different spices. So that's what I bought with my miscellaneous dollars. Now, at least I know for sure 3 of those items are kind of stockpile items. I'm going to be eating off that plant mayo probably for the next 6 months. I will eat off the tahini for months and months and months. And I will eat off the spices for months and months and months. And I deeply, deeply enjoyed the coffee and the chocolate. So, I did certainly overspend in miscellaneous, and I don't feel terribly bad about the stockpile items and the joy items, quite frankly, that were in miscellaneous. And I've made a video about kind of miscellaneous food costs before, and I'll link it above and below. It's just one of those areas where a lot of the time, like the stuff that's in the miscellaneous bucket is the stuff that makes our food taste good, like spices, or it's, items that kind of bring us joy, like coffee, or bring me joy, like coffee. So I don't want to be too hard on myself about it, but I do want to pay attention to my miscellaneous spending. So I'm going to give myself a B plus, and that's both because of the miscellaneous spending. I just want to pay a little more attention to it going forward. And then also as I move to May, as I move to June, I am going to eat through all of that fruit that was gifted to me. And so as I do my shops and my hauls in June, I just want to make sure that I do spend enough on fruit because all the free fruit will be gone. So I'm going to give myself a B plus because I want to, heading into June, I just want to be thinking about miscellaneous and fruit as I head into June. Now, if you feel like I have grade inflated here, I would love to hear why down in the comments. If you feel like I'm being too hard on myself, I'd love to hear about that in the comments. If you see things like food trend wise that I'm not noticing, also would love your observations about that down below. Now, the third place where I grade myself on spending is for household and personal items. This is stuff like shampoo, toilet paper, dish detergent, all of those things. And based on data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is linked below and above, the weekly allotment for a one-person household is $12.95 a week. And just so you know, that does include things like haircuts. So like if you get your hair professionally cut, it would need to come out of your household and personal budget here. But based on that data, what I was allowed to spend in the month of May was $51.80. Now, it is rare for me to spend all of that. But holy moly, was this month kind of a squeaker. So what I ended up spending was $49.19 because I bought a lot of things. I had to buy toilet paper, I had to buy dish detergent, I had to buy bleach, I needed my face scrub, my face moisturizer. It was just like I just had a bunch of things run out at the same time. And the household and personal item budget is also where I put tax that is charged on my food because I can't eat tax. I got a lot of really great tips from y'all across the videos this month, kind of about how I might think differently about household and personal care items in the sense that like I'm basically not buying them until I run out. And many of you pointed out, you were like, Jay, like those dish pods go on sale about every 8 weeks. And if you just buy them when they're on sale and stockpile them, then you won't have to pay full price when you run out. So I'm going to be thinking about that in the weeks and months ahead to try to bring these costs down because I really did. I paid full price for almost everything. And that is kind of redonkulous, as the college phenom, my daughter, might say. So I did come in under budget by $2.61. And again, this was just a month where I ran out of a lot of things at one time. But I am going to give myself an A minus, like, because I didn't go over budget. But I think that the feedback I got from y'all across the month was really on target, that I should not be running out and then paying full price. I need to be thinking about getting items when they're on sale or when they're great coupons and maybe having a little bit of a stockpile so I'm not paying full price for things. So an A minus may not be deserved here because I shouldn't be paying full price for things. I just shouldn't. But give me your feedback down in the comments below. I would greatly appreciate it. And any other ideas you have about saving on household and personal care items. All right, so overall report card for May 2023, I gave myself an A on food spending, a B plus on nutritional spending, and an A minus on household and personal care item spending. Again, in the comments, give me all of the feedback that you have for me. All right, so that's everything that I spent in May of 23. I underspent across both budgets, food and household personal. I underspent by $114 roughly. And so a question that I often get is, what are you going to use that money for that you didn't spend? Um, I do have some credit card debt related to some travel that I needed to do to support the college phenom. Um, and so the bulk of that money that I did not spend on groceries that was budgeted will go to pay down the credit card debt. Um, that said, perhaps controversially, I am going to like give myself, I don't know, $25 just for fun money in June. And that is money that I could put toward the debt. I am also someone who does want to have a little bit of joy in her life. And, you know, $25 is what? It's like, they're 4 weeks, 25 divided by four. It's like $6 a week. It's like not a lot of money, but it's enough for me to go to the movies once. It's enough for me to have movie night at home and buy a movie kind of from Amazon, you know, a couple times. It's enough for me to meet a friend and have coffee, right? So I do want to preserve a little bit of what I did not spend for fun money in the month of June. That said, there are a couple of other things happening in June that will impact budget for June. And we're getting ready to build that grocery budget. So the first thing that's happening is the college phenom is coming home for a couple of days. I'm estimating she'll be at my house for 3 nights, 3 days, 3 nights, and with the co-parent and the co-parent's partner for a couple of nights. So I'm really excited that she's coming home to visit. And then she is actually going to an academic program at a college in the same town that my sister lives in. My sister, her husband, and my niece and nephew. And that spot is also a place that our mother can get to. And so we are all convening on my sister's house for a long weekend. My mom and I will be there. My sister, her husband, her 2 kids will be there. And then the college phenom will be at this academic program in the same town. So that's going to be a 4-day long weekend at my sister's house with the whole family. And not the whole family. My stepdad isn't able to come. He's got to work. But it's going to be like a wonderful time to see the whole family. So when I'm building my budget for June, I am going to build it as if the college phenom is with me for 1 week of the month, because between the time she is physically going to be here and the time that we are at my sister's house, I believe that, I will need to put some money in to pay all those people, including the college phenom. So anyway, let's get to the June budget. All right, so let's construct the budget for the month of June, which again for me runs from May 26th to June 25th, just a function of how I get paid. So for my food budget, I am going to use the most recently available USDA Thrifty Food Plan, which if I can get this to open would be great. All right, so the most recent plan available from the USDA is from April 2023. Okay. And I will link it below for everybody. Now, for 1 week, I'm budgeting 1 week with the college phenom. So for me as a 51 to 70-year-old woman, what this says is that I should budget $51.70 for a woman my age. So $51.70. And then for the college phenom, who is a 14 to 19-year-old female, her allotment is $56.60. put that in. Now, according to footnote 3, down here, a 2-person household, we're supposed to add, can you see that? We're supposed to add 10%. Okay, so I'm going to take 5170 plus 5660 and multiply that by 0.1, which is 10%, which means that for the week the phenom is with me, I'm going to add my cost plus her cost plus the 10% premium. So for that 1 week she is with me, the maximum I'm allowed to spend is $119.13. Now, there will be 3 weeks when it's just me. We're not going to be together all the time. So I already know that my allotment is 5170. And in the weeks it's just me, I add 20% as a 1-person household. So in the weeks it's just me, what I'm going to be allowed to spend is $62.04. Okay. So to get my food budget for the month, what I'm going to do is add that 1 week that I'm budgeting for the college phenom to be with me, plus 3 weeks where it is just me. So my monthly food total is going to be $305.25 for the month of June. That will be the maximum, I am allowed to spend on food. Now, need to do my household and personal care item budget. And again, the phenom is going to be with me for 1 week. So I do need to include some expenses for her. And let me just tell y'all, like, she is not bringing all of her toiletries home when she flies back to the States. And so, like, I fully anticipate she's going to need some toiletries when she gets here, and she probably will spend all of this money. My household and personal care item budget is based on data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which I've linked below so that y'all can look at that if it's helpful to you. So I know I'll have 1 week where, according to that data, I should be spending $24.58 up to $24.58 just for the phenom's expenses. Well, technically for 2 people, but my guess is the phenom will spend most of that. And then, there will be 3 weeks where I'm by myself. And according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, a single person, the average is about, being thrifty, is about $12.95 a week. Okay. So when I've got 3 weeks where it's just me, a week when the college phenom will also be home, which means my maximum budget for the month of June for household and personal care items is $63.43. Okay, this is a lot of money, y'all. So when I add my food and personal and household care, the maximum I would be allowed to spend in the month of June is $368.68. And that is a ton of money. So I will do everything I can to come in well below that. Okay, friends, so that is my monthly grocery report card for the month of May. Gave myself an A for food spending, a B plus for nutritional spending, and an A minus for household and personal care spending. I am really wondering about that food spending. When I do the math, I spent like $4.50 a day to eat. And I'm a big snacker, so that's 3 meals plus snacks. I don't know if that's good or not. But would appreciate all of your feedback about the report card. Also would appreciate your feedback on the stance that I am taking, that I should have a little fun money even though I have credit card debt to pay down. Like, y'all push me if that is not the right thing to do. Don't know. And then We looked at my budget for June, for the upcoming month of June, and it is very large because the college phenom is re-entering my life, which does drive my costs up. And I'm going to have to really try to underspend in the month of June because it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Would appreciate your feedback on that June budget. If there are adjustments you'd make, I'm really, really open to hearing your thoughts and pushes and feedback and ideas. Before I log off, just want to say that there is a post up on my community page sort of asking if you all have sort of more personal kind of questions for me. Like there a couple of folks have put some things in there. Somebody asked about my work as a consultant and what it's been like to make that shift. Somebody asked a question about, did I do anything special to have my hair grow long? So if you have more personal questions about me, please feel free to put those either in the comments below or hop on over to that community post, which I will link down below, and add your questions there, because in the next week or so, I will be responding to community questions. So thank you so much for visiting and watching and providing all of your feedback in the comments below. Do hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, do all the things you can to support our little YouTube community here. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in a couple of days.